to Too Many Hats Podcast with your hosts with the most, Tony and Lavelle. Every morning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. We also have Queen Watkins with Clock Dead. Tune in with us and have a great time. Let's talk about it right here. Too Many Hats Podcast. Top of the morning to you, my beautiful people. Happy Wednesday. Hump Day Wednesday, man. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, man. It's your host with the most, Tony Mays. Lavelle Salter. Lavelle, I don't know if he's going to be able to be on or not with us this morning. He had to take Don to a doctor's appointment this morning. But anywho, he sent me a slideshow presentation and a topic that he wanted to discuss, and he thought that it would be a great follow-up conversation to our conversation about since we've been talking about the 50-50 in relationships and all of that. He thought it would be a great conversation to have this morning, just to talk about oh my God, that light is bright. So we're going to talk about, let me make some adjustments, y'all, because I'm blinded over here. Let me make some adjustments. Let me make some. Oh, I know what it is, y'all. Y'all give me 1 second. Technical difficulties. That's because I wanted to be on with y'all so bad this morning that I didn't really think about it. Okay. Still having some difficulties. Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure what's going on. Anyway, I might have to cut that light back off. But good morning. I'm gonna cut this light back off. It's blinding me, and I don't know, for some reason it's interfering with what we got going on. Okay, there we go. So anywho, Lavelle sent a topic, and man, I had to tone that down. I had to turn the light off. I don't know what's going on with it this morning. My stuff is tripping. But he thought that this particular topic would be a great follow-up topic to our 50-50 in relationship conversation. And when I saw it, I thought it would be a great follow-up to it too, because during that 50-50 conversation, we talked a lot about emotions and being emotional available and the effort that you put into relationships and all of these things. And so to come back with a topic such as this, I thought was great. Hey Zoe, good morning. Would be a great follow-up as well. So let's kind of jump on in there. He may jump on with his cell phone. I don't know. But let's jump on into it. Shout out, man. First of all, shout out to Lavelle. Lavelle been throwing me some topics lately. Been throwing me some really good topics lately. And I think it's got his wheels spinning a little bit too. So shout out to him, man. And shout out to all y'all, man, for continuing, man, to follow us every day. Even the ones that don't say nothing, they come on, don't say nothing. Y'all tell us in the streets all the time when you see us. Y'all watch the show all the time when you get off work and all that stuff. And so, and it shows as well. So thank you guys for your continued support. All right. The danger of being emotionally unavailable. Um, I'm finna be really, really transparent right now. So in the beginning of Monica and I's relationship, I really didn't really understand this particular term, emotionally available or unavailable. I didn't really understand that. We were very, very young, and I don't even think she understood it as well. We knew that we had emotions and all, but we didn't understand what being emotional available for each other, or just being unavailable. We didn't really understand that those aspects of it. And so I think over a period of time, good morning, Ms. Loretta, over a period of time, and as years progressed, we began to truly understand each other, understand our emotions, and understand that we had to be emotionally available for each other. And so that I honestly, I could say that was probably the turnaround in our relationship once we started to communicate and completely yielded to each other and each other's emotions and stuff. So uh and when we weren't there. We really weren't there at all. And so this morning we're gonna have a discussion, and you guys can chime in as you see fit, or if a particular scenario or or a part of this topic hits you, just make sure you chime on in. If you want to come on, let me know. I'll send you a link if you want to come on and maybe share a testimony. Because sometimes, man, you're on here and trying to. Good morning, Joseph. Trying to get on here and write a whole thesis about your life or your situation. It's sometimes it's just it's hard to do. And so we invite you to come on and share it. You can get on, share your testimony, hop back off. We're perfectly fine with that. And if you want to, just put it in here. Hey, bring me on, and I'll send you a link. All right. What this presentation is going to cover is going to cover the 10 major dangers of emotional unavailability. It is going to be detailed. Why people become emotionally unavailable, common signs and behaviors, and how it harms others and yourself, from the short and long version, or long-term version. And then the concrete steps and exercise. We probably won't get into the exercises and all that, but some concrete steps to become more emotionally connected. The first thing, being emotionally unavailable, it limits deep, meaningful relationships. So if you're trying to establish a deep, meaningful relationship, well, you got to start with being emotionally available. And if you're emotionally unavailable, it's going to be virtually impossible for you to have a deep, meaningful relationship. Now, you can have a deep relationship, but it won't be meaningful. This morning, bright and early this morning, Monica Mays decided to cut on Steve Wilko's show, and they were talking about deep, impacted relationships, relationships where guys were abusive, or the woman was, or the relationship itself was just abusive. And he was having these guys come back on his show that had been on his show to talk about that situation when it happened, and how they were kind of doing now. And those relationships, they were deep relationships, but they were not meaningful at all. they were just violent relationships. I think from an emotional standpoint, both parties, the male and the female, the women and the men, had checked out, and so there was no meaning in their relationships. It was just a relationship, uh, if you want to call it that. But when you are emotionally available, uh, you put up those emotional walls, uh, or when you're emotionally unavailable, those emotional walls prevent true intimacy and trust. People feel shut out even if they like you, if there is no availability. I talk a lot, and you guys have heard me probably say it a lot about being emotional, um, or not emotionally available, but just being present. And I think being present, in a person's life is kind of understanding those little nuances that come with even around the emotional availability aspect of it. So you can't be not be present in somebody's life and be emotionally available. How is that possible? It's not. So when you're emotionally unavailable, those walls prevent true intimacy and trust. People feel shut out even when they like you. Result, the relationships remain surface level, unstable, or short-lived. So think about this. If you're having a lot of different relationships and your relationships are not long, good morning, Miss or Evelyn, Severlin. Good morning. If you have um a lot of different relationships, short relationships, non-meaningful relationships, and you're trying to figure out why the relationship don't go past 6 months, 3 months, 4 months, there's probably a chance that there are some emotional walls up. And it's because maybe some past hurts, some past traumas in relationships. That's why I always say too that before you move on to a new relationship, make sure you heal from the one that you've already been in. Or if it's childhood trauma, go get you some help. Ain't nothing wrong with therapy, y'all. I don't know why we feel like therapy is a is a bad thing. Go get you some therapy so you can talk to somebody about those childhood trauma, those issues that and then when we say I don't want no help. I don't need no help. I don't need to go talk to nobody about that. But yet it's impacting your relationships, and it's impacting it in a very meaningful way, to the point that your relationships are almost non-existent. People that you deal with feel shut out. Even when they even like you, they feel like they shut out. Monica said emotional availability can sometimes be tough to achieve and can take time to get there for your partner and yourself. Sounds cliche, but learn and love yourself first. Absolutely. I definitely believe you got to learn and love yourself first. Then it will be easy for you to love and nurture your partner. I 100% agree with that. And not just because it's my wife, but because it's a true statement. I always say, if you can't, or if you don't love yourself, you don't understand yourself, how can you truly be there for somebody else? You ain't even emotionally there for yourself. How you going to emotionally be there for somebody else? Good morning, Cheryl. That's not even possible. So being emotionally unavailable limits deep, meaningful relationships. Another thing that it does is it attracts the wrong partners. Who I just asked you guys a question. Have you ever wondered why all your relationships are kind of just short-lived? You just can't seem to find the right person, or it just seems like you always run into the wrong dudes or wrong women. You know, maybe you're a female, and it seems like all the dudes that you run into, they just want one thing. You know, what is it about you that's attracting the wrong type of partners? Often attracts overgivers or fixers who try to solve rather than connect. See, I had to learn this too. Like, you can't fix a person. You can't. You can't fix a person. You could try. You can't fix nobody. You can't overgive them to being better. It won't happen. So generally, the person who um, has emotional uh, issues, they often attract the wrong type of people, the wrong type of partners. They may also attract other unavailable partners, creating unhealthy cycles where you got two people who are emotionally unavailable. Man, that's like you just hitting the wall. And you can't change a person. Cheryl said you can't change a person. I'm gonna tell you this: if a person loves you and they want to be, I heard I played a video yesterday with Boris said that if that's your person, that's your person. And if that's your person, if you know that you are doing some things that are detrimental to your relationship and you want to be better for that person, you will change for that person. They ain't got to change you. You ought to want to change. I've heard people say, I ain't changing for nobody. I'm who I am. They get what they got. If they don't like it, then that's why you're going to always be forever be by yourself. And some of you might be fine with that. But you have to understand that you have to first love yourself, understand yourself. I referenced the Steve Wilkos show earlier. When the lady came on after the guy got through talking, she came on. She said, "I just didn't like the person who he was." And then, but Steve said, "But yeah, but you got back with him." She said, "No, I didn't." She said, "When we went home, I went and did my own thing." She said, "I had to get myself together and understand myself first." And then she said, and then we slowly over time built the relationship back up to where I could deal with him on that level. So she had this. So even though he wasn't the reason he was acting a fool, that was just in him. But she still felt like that there were some things that she needed to work on for herself to get herself right before she could come back and say, "All right, I'm ready to deal with you now, and we're gonna take this slow, and we're gonna figure this out together." It could be time for self-reflection. That's in relationships, friendships, family ships, and all other ships. Yeah. But also, the result is repeated disappointing or unbalanced relationships when you attract the wrong partner. When you keep attracting the wrong people, I've even heard women say, "I just seem like I just keep attracting the wrong type of person." You gotta look in the mirror. You got to look in the mirror. If you keep attracting the same kind of person over and over again, something is wrong. I had to tell a friend of mine who has been married 5 or 6 times. I had to finally say, "Hey, look in the mirror. What is the common denominator in all 6 of those relationships?" Because I hear you saying, "They did this, they did that, they did this, they did that." And it all sounded like the same stuff. Maybe it ain't them, bro. Maybe it ain't them. You got to look in the mirror sometimes. And that was a hard conversation. But you got to look in the mirror sometime. Man, this right here is. Your needs go unmet when you're in a emotionally unavailable relationship. Your needs go unmet. Both parties' needs go unmet. Avoiding vulnerability makes it hard to express real needs, support, or affection. So let me speak maybe to the men. Let me speak to the men right quick. Men, I understand a lot of times it's hard for us to be transparent or vulnerable with our partners because sometimes it feels like we share, and when we share, it makes us look weak. It makes us look the women are calling now sassy, he always whine and complain. No, you have the right to have emotions, men. You have a right to be vulnerable. And if you can't be vulnerable and transparent with your mate, your partner, your wife, your spouse, whatever, who can you be vulnerable with, transparent with, if you can't do that with them? So at that point, you just accept, and you won't be vulnerable, you won't be transparent. So you're not getting the support and affection you need. And because you're not getting the support and affection you need, it's hard for you to give it. So now both of your needs go unmet. You can't be emotionally supportive of her or show affection because you're not getting what you need, because you don't want to share or be vulnerable or transparent in those moments. Others don't know what you want. People don't know what you want if you don't tell them. I saw I was on Facebook, and Lauren Lake, I think it's Lauren Lake. She got a new show. Well, one of the shows, I think she be doing the paternity. Yeah, she be doing paternity, right? And she got this new show where I guess she doing other stuff, you know. So this couple was on there. This guy was on there who had um had got engaged to his girlfriend. Got his girlfriend, got engaged. Good morning, Rodney. I don't see Mel on there. Oh, Mel on there. Good morning, Mel Mac. Let me please recognize Mel Mac. Good morning, Mel Mac. A Mel Mac boy will cut you out. You don't recognize her. Good morning, Mel. I'm sorry, I ain't see it. But anyway, the guy had purchased a $18,000 engagement ring. 18,000. First of all, I was like, damn. He bought 18,000, and he said he started off by saying the girl, comes from a great family, good family, this and that. And so I'm like, so what's the issue then? So he bought her an $18,000 ring. That wasn't the issue. And everybody was like, "Woo, 18,000." He's like, "Yeah, I wanted her. But this is how she got him to really get the ring she wanted and knew what she wanted. Every time she had a friend or whatever that got engaged or got married or whatever, and then how y'all women be, ooh, look at my ring, look at my ring. Well, she would go back and have a sidebar conversation with him and say, "Ooh, that ring is really pathetic." And he was like, "Damn, I thought it was a nice ring." So she kind of set the whole stage for him to get her the right ring, right? Because she was, every time one of her friends showed a ring, she was like, "Oh, that ring was pitiful. Oh, now that ring was really nice." So he's like, "Oh, she like that kind of ring." So anyway, he went out and bought the girl an $18,000 ring. But what she didn't know is, and I guess he really couldn't afford the ring. So what he was doing was he was going to a fertility clinic twice a week, not donating, but giving sperm, selling sperm. Right? He was going up twice a week. He was making $400 a week on the side of his job till he had enough to go and buy this ring. And I was like, damn. And so they sent a letter to his house, and she just saw the letter with his name on it, said fertility clinic. So she got nose and opened up his mail and saw that he was donating sperm. So she called off the engagement. She had took the ring and had it appraised and all that, so she knew it was a real deal. But because she broke it off with him, she eventually gave him the ring back. So he went and sold the ring, and he only made $10,000 off the $18,000 ring, and he was in court trying to sue her for $8,000. So he didn't know what she wanted, y'all. He didn't know, but she alluded to what she wanted by the way she commented on other folks' stuff. Sometimes women would do that in relationships, right? They'll come around, you go around them, and then they see this. You see their friend. They have a couple friends that they have a really great relationship with their man, and they got a beautiful relationship. She want you to take notes at their relationship, not to be like their relationship, but how beautiful their relationship. And then they go around some of the friends that's toxic, be like, oh, they got a hard relationship. I don't know where they going. So she telling you not to act like that. So we don't know what y'all want, but you can tell us, and vice versa, men. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to create any kind of misunderstandings or resentment. So just why play the guessing game? Just be vulnerable, be transparent, share, express your real needs so you can get the support and affection that you need. And if that person is not willing to give it to you, that's not your person. That is not your person. I'm gonna play the video again from yesterday because I really love this video with him saying this. Hopefully somebody on the day that wasn't on yesterday can check this out.
Teach the other Hollywood celebs how to defy the odds. You and Nicole have been together for more than 20 years.
Which is like 90 years in Hollywood.
Right.
terms.
You got the foundation that you mentioned. You've done projects together. You have two beautiful kids. Like how do you get there?
You get there while you're getting there. What that means is that you can't skip any steps and you can never give up. If this is your person, right? If this is your person, and I know that she is my person 100%, and because she is my person and I'm her person, we grow together, we learn together, we hurt together, we fight together, we lose together, we win together, and we are in this by choice, right? We don't have to be together, we want to be together. And we do it, and every day is a new start.
I'm gonna stop it right there. This is my person. If this is my person, we hurt together, we love together, we grow together, we win together, we lose together. You see all these different aspects of the relationship. We do all of this together. And I think that's what makes, and you understand each other, you grow, you growing together, you understand, you start to really know each other and know what each other needs. But in the beginning of the relationship, it's hard for me to truly know what you need if you don't share, so I can support you in that. Rodney said the late Maya Angelou. Wait, first of all, Lavelle said good morning. 2 Men and a Half family. Send up a prayer for Don Squirrel Sock and praying for eye surgery. Love y'all. We'll do. The late Maya Angelou said when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Absolutely. Monica May's facts. A lot of coworkers use this to justify behaviors. So, just share. Ain't nobody got time to play the guessing game with you. Ain't nobody got time for that. We ain't got time for you to be playing no guessing game. So just tell me. Tell me what you truly need from me so I can support you. I can give you the affection that you need and the support that you need. So emotionally unavailable can also cause conflict, and conflict becomes harder to solve. It becomes harder. Monica said, I hate the saying, and excuse an excuse used that's how they are, mean, hateful, evil, unreliable, unloyal, selfish, and we deal with it because we accept it's just them. Some warning signs should not be ignored. I'm just saying. They should not be ignored. um, Emotional distance reduces honest communication. So when I'm emotionally unavailable for Monica, uh, and vice versa, it creates distance, emotional distance. So now our communication is lacking. The honesty in the communication is lacking. So problems will either build silently or they can erupt suddenly. You can go from 0 to 100 real quick if you're allowing that emotional distance to infiltrate, or the gap, as I call it. Problems either build silently or erupt suddenly. Constructive repair becomes difficult. It's hard when you have went so long in a relationship of being unemotional, or being emotionally unavailable for each other, and you have failed to recognize and support, your effort is lackluster. It becomes very, very difficult to start to repair those issues. Your issues, it's hard, man. It's gonna be difficult to repair those. So how do you lessen the gap or close the gap? By being emotionally available, understanding, hey, I have needs, I need to be supported, you have needs, you should be need to be supported. Let's communicate, let's talk about it, let's figure out what it is so we can have a healthy relationship. Conflict in a relationship, I mean, you're gonna have some conflict in a relationship. You're gonna have some conflict, but if you can't talk about the conflict, talk about what the situation is, what's going on, and work through it, then that becomes more difficult, and it increases the gap over time. Rodney says, yep, I posted this on my page Monday morning. Deion Sanders reposted it concerning his son. Monica said a gap increases. Mel said emotional distance is not good. It can lead to relationship being non-existent if it goes too long and you overlook the warnings, the conversations, or there's no conversation altogether. Mel says stop saying I can't be in two places at one time. It's called balance, working together, multitasking. Come on in here, Mel Mac. But you hear that a lot of times. Well, I was finna say you hear it a lot of times from women, but you actually hear it from men and women. I just can't be everywhere at the same time. I can't be in two places at the same time. And I think it's very difficult to be in two places at one time. It is almost impossible. It's almost impossible to be in two places. Well, I ain't gonna say it's impossible to be in two places because you can be in. Well, we're talking about two physical places. You ain't be in two physical places, but when you talk about in the relationship, you have, like Mel said, you got to know how to balance that thing out, multitask. Yeah, we just talked about the 50-50 relationship, balancing each other out. The effort counts. And stop looking at the exact symmetry of 50-50 because it's gonna never be an exact symmetry. You're never gonna get the exact symmetry. And if you're expecting that, you're gonna be disappointed every time. So when Mel say, I keep saying I can't two be in places at one time, she's not talking about two physical places because you can't. We know you can't physically be in two places at one time. You know, Yeah, your body can be in one spot and your mind can be somewhere else, but physically you can't be in. But in the relationship, you have to be in multiple places in the relationship at one time. You have to be able to multitask and balance each other out. It looks like another series. Some of these topics have so many layers, and that's why it's important. Yes. We will have conflict, but it always goes back every time to communication. Effort, yes. I shared this with someone yesterday on God. You have to have the effort. You have to put the effort in. So the conflict will become harder to solve if you allow that emotional distance to creep in and just kind of push you guys further away from each other. Another thing being emotionally unavailable does it creates self-sabotaging patterns. Pushing people away when relationships get serious. You start to self-sabotage your own relationship. So I asked that question earlier, like how many of you guys ever thought, man, why is it always me? Why I keep getting all these different relationships and relationship don't last? Maybe because you self-sabotaging them. Every time somebody tries to get too close to you, you push them away. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. The relationship, it's starting to get too close. Okay, bam, let me push it away because that's not what I'm ready for. I'm not ready for that. And that happens. That happens a lot. And so, yes, prioritizing. Pushing people away when relationship gets serious, even if you want closeness, you will push them away anyway because you're doing it out of habit. Choosing unavailable partners or behaviors that guarantee disappointment. Wow. You're simply just choosing people that you know are unavailable or because of certain behaviors that guarantee disappointment. You're self-sabotaging. To me, that sounds like a person who has problems with really showing, like who they are, or being who they are, or self-confidence. They lack self-confidence. They think that everybody else is too good for them. I watched a video clip where a guy was talking to a woman, a married woman, and he was asking her, if two dudes were just sitting up, talking, and you walk past, she said, how do you think those two dudes would, he asked her, how do you think those two dudes would view you on a scale of 1 to 10? How you think they would view you if you, and she said, I don't know, probably like a 4 or 5. And he looked at her, he said, a 4 or 5? And she said, yeah, probably like a 4 or 5. And then he said, how does your husband view you? Yeah, we had that conversation before, and he honest. He said like I was like a 5, and dude said call him, get him on the phone, get him on the phone. And she said for real, get him on the phone. So they get him on the phone. He said, man, I'm trying to have a conversation with your wife, man. I asked her on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you view her? And he said, how do you view your wife scale of 1 to 10? He said, my wife is a 10. My wife is the bomb. He said, man, she just said that you will view her as a 4 or a 5. He said, man, he said, I've told her about that. That's her self-confidence. I told her she lacked, and we didn't had this conversation before. So sometimes self-sabotaging, like, because she viewed herself as a certain way. You know what I'm saying? She didn't have her lack of who she was, knowing who she was, feeling who she was. You know what I'm saying? And maybe at some point somebody told her she didn't meet up the expectation. I don't know. It could be coming from her childhood trauma where somebody told her she ain't gonna never be nothing. But clearly something has happened in later life for her to feel like she is not measuring up to anybody's standards and not even her own standards. So that could be part of self-sabotaging patterns. You know, Monica said habits definitely need self-reflection from time to time. Lavelle said, "The woe is me all the time spirit." I don't think it's necessarily that. I just think people don't necessarily view themselves the way other people view them, and it might not even be the woe is me. That woe in me is kind of like the victim syndrome. And this person is not necessarily playing a victim. They just don't think they measure up to anybody else's standards or either their own standards. Emotional intelligence declines when you are emotionally unavailable. When you're emotionally unavailable over a period of time, the emotional intelligence just declines. Avoidance reduces practice with naming and managing feelings. Wow. Difficulty reading others' emotions and responding with empathy. So when you're in a relationship where you guys are not emotionally available for each other, the emotional intelligence that you guys possess, especially the longer you stay in a relationship and the longer that you guys are unemotionally available, I don't even understand, like, how do you sit in a relationship? You know, I do some, because I've heard people say, "Well, I was just in it for the kids." You know, we had small kids. I was in it, or he was a sole breadwinner. He was a person that made all the money, and I didn't want to be out there in the streets and trying to figure out my next move. I get it. But when you are emotionally unavailable for each other for so long, the emotional intelligence that you guys possess, if you possess any, or what little you have, starts to dissipate. The avoidance reduces the practice with naming and managing the feelings. Then you also begin to have difficulty reading others' emotions and responding with empathy. Have you ever just talked to somebody and you be like, and everything out their mouth about somebody is like, they ain't got no empathy or sympathy for nobody. It's like you be like, damn, I don't even want to talk to this person no more. It's like they just dragging everybody ass through the mud. Like, I don't want to talk to them. Like, they bring you down. Their energy so negative. That's what happened, because they can't even read. Their emotional intelligence has dissipated to the point where they don't even possess any. They just, everybody and everything in them is just, man, a bunch of crap. That's hard. The chronic sense of isolation. You can be surrounded by people and still feel alone. Depression can do that as well. If you're in a depression state, you can be and feeling like, man, like you sitting in there with 150 people and you just feel like, I'm in this room by myself. When you're emotionally unavailable, or somebody is emotionally unavailable for you, it can give you a chronic sense of isolation, where people are around you, but you still feel all alone. Like, damn, like, what's wrong with me? Why am I feeling like, and all these people in the room, everybody just talking, laughing, having a good time, and you sitting over there like you the only person in the room. And sometimes people can see that. They can, and that energy and the synergy that you're putting out, and people like, oh shit, I don't want no part. I ain't going to talk to. I don't want no part of that energy. Lavelle said, have tapped out of the relationship and didn't even see the warnings. Man, tapped completely out. you have an emotional numbness or detachment increases over the time. You numb, emotionally numb. Like you don't even understand like why you even here. You just numb. That's crazy. I'm so glad Lavelle sent this topic and brought this topic up, because I do think like when we start talking about relationships, and this any kind of relationship, because the stuff that we've talked about here lately are not just for um relationship like where you're in a relationship with somebody, but man, we're talking friendships, work relationships, all kinds of ships, as Monica said. This stuff is applicable across all relationships. And sometimes even when you're emotionally unavailable for your siblings, or when mom is at a certain age and dad at a certain age, and they need that emotional support, and you're not available for them, and so it can go on and on. Like Lavelle said, a lot of this stuff has so many different layers to it. Like we can literally talk about some of this stuff forever and still not even tap into it's still only go past the surface with it, because it's so deep and the layers are so thick. And so you have to really understand that when you are emotionally unavailable, it could impact so many different other areas of your life, not just in your relationship, but other ships as well. Increase mental and physical. Boy, there you go. Increase mental and physical stress. When you kind of suppress your emotions, you you kind of tap into some other stuff, man, that in terms of your body that you come, because you're not releasing, you're suppressing and not releasing. And so when you suppress your emotion, it raises psychological stress, anxiety, sleep problems. When you hear people talking about I don't sleep well at night, I can't sleep, something has happened. Something has happened to cause them um to have anxiety, sleep deprivation, um, depression. So you have to really. I couldn't be in a relationship now. Like I said, I didn't really understand this, and I was being transparent at the beginning of the show, and I said when me and Mug got together, we were both so young, we didn't really understand being emotionally available. But we grew over a period of time and we understood that. And so now, with the understanding I have being emotionally available now, I don't understand how people even go through a relationship and you ain't even having these kind of conversations, or just communicating properly to the point where you guys understand what each other's needs are. I don't understand it. That's why the dating game kind of throws me off right now, because it seems like the dating game has trickled into to more of a what you got. Oh, well, we can get together based on that. Oh, because you got some and I got some. Oh, if you ain't got nothing, I ain't finna bring mine, because I ain't you that. I'm like, what the is that? What is going on? I don't understand it. I don't. So it's difficult for me to truly understand, why people get into relationships, um, get into the relationships, and then don't want to share, or be transparent or vulnerable, and kind of share what their needs are, what they want, what kind of support they need, and then you know just exist in a relationship, no emotional attachment that's in the relationship. just to say, yeah, you know, I'm dating so and so, and then people sit back looking and say, they just seem so unhappy. They just seem really unhappy together. I when I tell you I've seen so many relationships like that, I see the relationship and I be like, they just don't seem happy to me. They seem like they just hate being in each other's presence. And that could very well be the case. Lavelle said, absolutely. When we finished yesterday, it hit me like a ton of bricks because it was in tune with the 50-50 subject and it was in alignment with people taking personal inventory in the relationship. Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna stop there. We'll do part 2 tomorrow, man. We're gonna stop right there and then let's clock that T with our girl Queen Watkins.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Y'all know what time it is. Put them phones in my fingers up. It's time to clock that tea with your girl, Queen Watson. I hope y'all are having an amazing morning. But y'all know what time it is. It's time to clock that tea. Have y'all heard of the story, y'all, of the 11-year-old boy that got arrested for the police allegedly saying he was faking being a veteran? Let's talk about it. So there was this 11-year-old black boy selling lemonade, and he literally said to support veterans, right? And while he was selling this lemonade, he also had on a like a camouflage outfit as well as medals while he was selling the lemonade. So a police officer decided to, stop and arrest this little boy because he said he was lying about being a veteran. And it's like, what? He got on a uniform and he's faking like he's a veteran. He's 11 years old. He ain't no grown man. He's 11 years old selling lemonade on the sidewalk now. And you done pulled him over to arrest him. And people wonder why little black boys are kind of scared of the police or why black men in general are kind of scared of the police. Because something so small like this. You can buy camouflage from anywhere, literally. Walmart. Well, I don't know if you can buy that outfit, but you can buy that outfit off of Amazon, go to a costume store or something and get the full outfit. You're gonna risk everybody that's walking around in the outfit saying support veterans? Make it make sense. He literally arrested the little boy, put handcuffs on him and everything. So his dad ended up coming to the police car and was just like, whoa, 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 what's going on? And he was like, he's impersonating a veteran. And the dad was like, I'm a veteran. I was in the Marines. And he was like, well, why your son got these medals on him? And look how dirty it is out here from the lemonade stand. He was like, because he just wanted to, bring some bling to the outfit. Not nothing this serious. He acting like the little boy was out there asking for social security numbers or something. Now he was going selling $3 lemonade and got arrested for this. Put in handcuffs at the age of 11 years old. How will that affect that baby? How will he move through life feeling? Like I can really get in trouble for doing something so simple. It didn't even have a bad meaning to it or nothing. That baby was probably trying to support the veterans. May have given them that money that he made from the lemonade stand to help them out. His dad was a veteran. Make it make sense. And the police officer still trying to find things to validate why he just arrested a 11-year-old boy. Make it make sense. He doesn't. All right, y'all. That's all the tea that I have today. Make sure y'all tune in for 2 million hits Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. sharp. And don't forget to stay tuned for your girl, Queen Watkins Clock That Tea. Y'all have a blessed day. Bye.
Yeah, that story was absolutely ridiculous in terms of what the police did. But it kind of it don't surprise me. I'm gonna put it that way. I saw a video yesterday where a young lady was driving. She had her emergency flashes on. She had people in the car. She was trying to. The police got behind her because she was driving sporadic fast with the emergency lights on, and he kept telling her to pull over on the loudspeaker, and she trying to stick her arm out the window, tell him to come up on side me so I can tell you her mama was having a medical emergency. Her mother was having a stroke, and she was trying to get her mom to the emergency room. He wouldn't pull up on side of her. He just kept hollering, pull over. This is your last warning. He on the radio saying, I'm finna bump the car, whatever. So he rammed the car, bumped them, pushed them off the road, and then told the girl to get out the car, put her hands up. She telling him, she said, sir, my mother is having a stroke. It's emergency. He said, I don't care. Come on back here. Turn around. Put the handcuffs on you. Then they went around to the other person's side. He said, sir, she's had, they didn't care. They was literally putting the people in handcuffs while this lady was dying in the car. So I've seen worse things by police. So this story doesn't shock me at all. It's really a ridiculous story. Phyllis says, good morning. Good morning. People tend to get into relationships based on what they have seen or heard instead of building their own. And I think that's true too. That's a very true statement. You know, when it comes to relationships, people just kind of, you know, if they've never had a true example of what a great relationship looks like, and a lot of people don't. I ain't finna be naive enough to sit here and say that everybody should have some kind of great example of a relationship in front of them. No. But at some point, well, common sense ain't coming. I often said common sense I'll kick in, but sense ain't coming. And so, you know, at some point though, you have to realize that whatever you're doing in the relationship that's negative is not working, and you have to do something different. So hopefully that helped. Man, shout out. I want to give another shout out, man. I meant to shout out this young lady the other day, but shout out to this 4-year-old girl who taught her own self, 4 years old, taught her own self how to read, and amazingly scored 140 on the IQ test and joined Mensa. So 4-year-old taught her own self how to read, scored 140 on the IQ test, and joined Mensa. Man, shout out to this young lady. Also, man, I want to shout out. I'm actually gonna put the video on tomorrow. But there's a young boy out here. He's about 7 or 8 years old, and he's a little white kid. He produces music. And him and his little sister be sitting there. It's crazy because he got a keyboard. He playing chords on the keyboard, and he's recreating songs that he hear. He has when I tell you his ear for music is incredible. He can hear any song and then recreate all the sounds from that song through the equipment that his dad or whoever has set up for him. I mean, he has like a little mini studio. He got his mics. He's singing his own words and everything. Like the boy is incredible. So I'm gonna show y'all a video of him actually making a song tomorrow. And it's just incredible, man, that the minds that these kids have. And I'm sitting there saying, I remember when I had my studio and how I struggled to try to get through some of that stuff. And he on here talking about chords and talking about reverbs and taking an 18 step, taking the note up 18 step or down. I'm like, what the heck? At 7 and 8, and he's been doing this since he was like 4 or 5, I think. And he plays bass, guitar, drum, all this stuff. And he's incredible. So I want to highlight him tomorrow as well. So thank you guys for joining in on the conversation today. Another great conversation. Thank you, Lavelle, for sharing this particular topic, man. It was a great conversation today. And we thank you guys for joining in the conversation and just participating, man. So we thank you guys again. And we look forward to part 2 tomorrow, or we'll jump back in it. Maybe we won't go 3 days. Maybe we'll go. If not, we'll finish the week out with it. If we don't get through tomorrow, we'll finish the week out with it. So again, thank you guys again for being on. Let us pray. Most gracious and eternal God, we thank you for today. We thank you for another opportunity just to be able to share. Oh God, we pray now for all of those we're duty bound to pray for, those who are sick, shut in convalescent home behind prison walls. Lord, those that don't even know you in the pardon of their own sins. We pray now for every viewer, listeners, oh God, that you would grant them their heart's desire, oh God, that you would also allow us to be understanding and emotional available for those who that we need to be there for, our partners, our mates, our family members, those who we need to be there. And then in return, that people will be emotionally available for us as well, oh God. We thank you. We love you. We pray for Dawn, oh God. We pray that you would guide the doctor's hands on her eye surgery, and that everything will come out okay, oh God. We pray for Lavelle and his children and Quita and her family, and then look on Monica and I, oh God. Continue to bless us in a special way. Look on our children and bless like only you can. Even our grandchildren, oh God, you touch it, bless in a special way. In Jesus' name that we pray and ask all of these things. Thank God and amen. Thank you guys, man. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Same bat time, same bad place. 2 Men in Hats. Let's talk about it.
It's the 2 Minute Hats podcast with your host with the most, Tony and Lavelle, every morning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. We also have Queen Watkins with Clock Dead P. Tune in with us and have a great time. Let's talk about it right here. 2 Minute Hats podcast.